Some of the things I love about anime are the noises, the sound effects you hear in the background when you have characters like, say, walking through a library and seeing the background, as it's been painted up, as it's been animated, just hundreds of books, and maybe the floor is like a wood paneled floor, and you hear the clip clop of the shoes or whatever they're wearing on their feet walking across the floor, and the clip clop of horses' hooves if you're watching a show that's it has and features horses in it and such like that. I always love the depth that these noises, these sounds bring with it, and it's one of those things where I feel a sense of like a warm sensation that comes over me when I'm watching an anime and you hear these kinds of sound effects. The foot patter running down a hallway in a school, in a particular, I don't know, classroom-based anime series, all these different kinds of things. Sometimes the machinery, the way you'll hear, mechanisms either activating or winding down as they're being shut off. And all of these things, I mean, I love the voice acting, I love the stories, I love the animation, but we sometimes, forget to look beyond whatever the characters are in focus, in the middle of the screen and such, to look at those backgrounds. I love the way classrooms, sort of modeled on the Japanese basis for a classroom. I love the way these classrooms are animated, the way they're made to look very much like their real-world counterparts. And again, libraries, and when you're getting into more fantasy anime series, I just love the depth and the detail that goes into the backgrounds. It's something that is born out of my love of animation and like Disney filmography. If you look back at the hand-drawn panel-by-panel Disney films from way back in the day, I mean, you could pop in Pinocchio and just sort of ignore the story and just look at those backgrounds, the depth, all of the lines that are, painted into just a chunk of wood that maybe is part of a bench. And you see that in most estimations, not all estimations in modern anime. Just look at the background sometimes and listen to the sound effects of characters walking around, opening a zippered backpack. These sounds, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's just the way they're mixed or how much emphasis is placed on them, the care that is taken to depict these sounds when characters are doing these actions. It just always resounds with me, and I love when, characters are just walking down a hallway and I hear the pads of their feet, their shoes meeting whatever that is, the wood floor or tile floor, whatever it is. Little things like that, little tiny things like that make watching an anime series that much more pleasurable to me. Somebody who has always been, for almost my entire life since being debuted to Star Wars as, right out of the womb. I mean, I was always very much a movie buff and into the production of films, and was always astounded by the Foley artists, those being the sound effects people. They had a Foley board, essentially, which was named after the guy who invented it, which was a sound effects board. And, like things in old school films, if they wanted to depict thunder and lightning and a rainstorm, they'd have like a sheet of aluminum that they'd whip around and would make that noise. And for rain, they'd have like a big sort of cylinder filled with like little beads or something like that, and they'd rotate it and it would make that noise and stuff. And I think a lot of those things, I mean, most of these sound effects are probably, they can just go into a whole computer bank and pull out these sounds as they need. But I'm sure that in some estimations, modern anime still will use that Foley artist approach and make sort of the sound effects right then and there as well. And it's definitely something that always, is called to my attention as an anime viewer and lover, to experience that, and to, it adds that depth to whatever I'm watching. And I always take note of it. I always sit back and I'm like, I just love that sound. I love that sound. And the look of, again, going back to, because my freshest memory as of the time of this recording is an anime where you saw this grand library and just all of those books, and they're not real, but it signifies sort of the ideal of what you wish a library could be, as someone who is a book lover like myself. And yeah, so it's like all of these things combined, not just the overall story and the characters and such like that. For me, a good anime also has those little things hidden in the background that just pull you in and you know, completely win over your mind, body, and soul, and give you that depth, so you almost feel akin to being a part of that world. And so yeah, anime, 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 any day of the week, for me at least. Rock on.